Hi guys, it's Dara here for Dear Hallmark. This is the space where we talk about all things Hallmark Channel movies. And we're going to be talking about Hallmark Movies and Mysteries North to Home. This one came out January 9th, the day after The Wedding Veil. And this is not your typical movie. I was very surprised by this movie. Let's talk about what it's about though, because this one, let me tell you what it's about. So it stars Kimberly Sustad as Beth, Erica Durance as Hannah, and Lyndsey Fonseca as Posey. And I want to insert a corrective statement because last video I think I said Tori DeVito instead of Lyndsey Fonseca, and for some reason I get them confused. They look the same to me, but it's Lyndsey Fonseca from Next Stop Christmas and not Tori DeVito from The Christmas Promise or Right Before Christmas, where she played opposite Chad Michael Murray. That's not her. This movie is about three sisters, Beth, Hannah, and Posey. They go back to their hometown of Anchorage, Alaska. Well, I should say two out of the three sisters go back because Posey is already there. She works in the family cafe and she lives at home with mom and dad. And they're celebrating mom's 60th birthday. Mom is played by Mama Chesapeake herself, Barbara Niven. This woman's out here collecting checks and I just need her to keep going, please. They come back home to Anchorage, Alaska, but not without baggage. And I'm not talking about the luggage that they brought their clothes in, okay? Let's start off. How I'm going to break this movie down is I'm going to talk to you about each of the sisters' situations, how they intertwine with one another, and then my thoughts on them. That's how I'm going to break this movie down, because that's in essence what this movie focused on. I am going to spoil it. So if you haven't seen it yet, pause it and then watch it. Because there are some mysterious elements or dramatic elements, if you will, that I'm just going to give away. Fair warning, just to let you know. So at the basis of this movie, we learn that the three sisters are adopted. They are adopted by Barbara Niven's character. And we find out it is because their parents died during an accident. Furthermore, we find out that Suzanne, who is Barbara Niven, she was the leader on the expedition in which their parents died on. There was an avalanche and Suzanne took that burden on herself. She felt immense guilt. She took in the girls as her own because their mom was her best friend. She took in the girls as their own, adopted them, and raised them through their elementary, middle, high school life. So that's kind of at the basis, the overarching feeling like that we get from this movie. Now let's get into the three sisters. We have Hannah, who I believe is the oldest, played by Erica Durance. Hannah is your city slicker, workaholic wife who made one of her sisters angry again because she missed her niece's play. And her husband, you can tell that there's a bit of strain. Like there's something that Hannah isn't letting us on to. There's something that Hannah is keeping a secret. And we find out pretty early on, I would say in the second or third act, we find out that she's pregnant. And her face, and when she finds out, because we see her keep wanting to call this wanting to find out from the doctor about test results. And I'm thinking, oh, she has cancer or something, one of those, it's going to be one of those things, but she's pregnant. And so you would think she would be excited, but it's the opposite. She's just like, oh my gosh, what? And so now I'm just like, what? Was she not trying to get pregnant? What's going on? She keeps this news from her husband, who's played by Matthew James Dowden, by the way, which is pretty cool. It was cool to see him in this. She keeps that information from him, though, for a good portion of the movie. And then at the end, the telltale end, when she finally tells him, he just takes a beat and then he's like, oh my gosh. like, it didn't feel like there was enough payoff for as long as they kept the secret from him. You know what I mean? I felt like there should have been a bigger payoff for as long as they made us wait to see how the husband would respond. Because I'm thinking, okay, does her husband not want to have kids? Is he going to be like, give it away? Like, I wasn't privy to his frame of mind that would make her react that way. And so I think that's where we could explore more of Hannah and her husband's relationship, which will bring me to my final point once I go through each of the sister situations. So that was kind of a missed opportunity for me. And also there was something that Hannah was doing throughout the movie. She never called Barbara Niven's character Mom. She called her by her first name, Suzanne. And so I wanted to know more. I wanted to know, why was she bitter? How long has she been, well, obviously she's probably been carrying this bitterness for a while, like for a long time. Did she always call Suzanne by her first name? Did she ever call her mom? Was there a turn in the relationship? I wanted to know more about that. And then Hannah in relationship to Beth. Beth is the sister in whom Hannah upset because she missed her kids' play. So let's go into Beth. Beth, played by Kimberly Sustad, she is the stay-at-home, burnt-out wife and mom. Her kids are wreaking havoc on the house. You can tell the house is a mess. It's all over the place. She's trying to get her kids under control while answering the phone. And she gets an opportunity from a former boss to get back into the workforce. And this opens her mind up to the possibilities of like, whoa, could it be time for me to go back into the workforce? Is there anything in me left of what I used to be? She was in marketing. So she has a conversation with her husband, and there was miscommunication there. Her husband thought she was talking about another kid, but she was talking about getting back into the workforce. So I thought there was going to be more tension there with him wanting more children, her wanting to get back into the workforce. Throughout the course of the movie, they do come to a compromise. So I do think it was beautiful to see a husband and wife go through such a major decision within their relationship, because we're getting them at a point where the kids are older and Beth is just like, who am I outside of these kids? That's where she is at this point. And do you remember that part from the trailer where he said, you kept this a secret from me? And she was like, I'm sorry. And she's just on the steps and it's like, boom. I thought it was going to be something to the gravity of Hannah's situation, but it was simply her going behind her. And I shouldn't say simply, because I still think that was wrong. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't think this was another anticlimactic payoff as to where the big secret was just her doing some little bits and bobs of a job that she said she wasn't going to take. So I think this was another opportunity of an anticlimactic payoff that I was just like, oh, that was the big secret. That didn't seem worth it for how they edited it for the trailer, you know? And Beth and Hannah throughout the course of the movie, because in the beginning we see Beth angry at Hannah for not coming to her daughter's play, we see that continue to be a source of conflict for them throughout. They kind of make little digs at each other, and until they have, a big free-for-all honesty session at the end with all three sisters, and they just lay their heart bare, blase blah. But lastly, Lyndsey Fonseca's character, Posey, she's the youngest one, full of life and vitality. She is not... Oh, this was another part about Beth's character that I really liked. You could tell that she was scarred by the accident, her parents' accident, because she was overly protective of her daughters. She was always trying to keep them safe, watch them. She didn't want them to do anything that would be dangerous or something like that. Like, they wanted to ride a horse that Posey had. I have some tea right here. They wanted to ride a horse that Posey had, and the mom just wasn't for it, or Beth wasn't for it. And Posey just kept trying to encourage her, like, you know, it's okay that they get bumps and bruises and things like that, but you could tell she was still, like, that was a sore spot for her. So back to Posey's character. Let me take a sip. Back to Posey's character. She wants to climb, but she feels like she's stuck in, how should I put this? She's stuck at home. Literally. She lives with her parents. We don't get a sense of exactly how old she is. Like, did she go to college? Is she college age? Early 20s, mid 20s? We don't get an idea of her age, but she works at her parents' cafe. And I think she also works at the rescue, something to do with the mountains, but she loves climbing. And her dream is to climb all over the place. She becomes friendly with the man who's renting their parents' guest house. His name is Luke. He's a travel writer. Now, Luke is Posey's romantic interest, sure, but I think giving him this ulterior motive backstory as he's the son of the other couple who was involved with that accident way back when their parents died, and even how it was revealed, I feel like it was just like, wait, what? I didn't need that to happen. I know they were trying to pack on the drama, but I didn't need it. So, all in all, this movie had gorgeous scenery. There was chemistry, like familial chemistry with the characters. I believed them as sisters. And most importantly, I feel like Hallmark Movies and Mysteries has laid the groundwork for a potential TV series. And I think that they should not take this lightly. I firmly believe that, like with what I've said with each of the three sisters, there's so much more to explore with these characters. There's so much more to see how, if Beth gets back into the workforce, what that dynamic is going to look like in the home with her and her husband and her and her daughters. Will she become like Hannah, where she will then begin to miss things that her daughters are in, or even not be there, which means the dad will have to pick up some of the slack. Just seeing that whole family dynamic shift. And then with Hannah, her even having a baby, because up until this point, her and her husband don't have any kids. So seeing how her mindset changed as she's already in this workaholic mindset, what that's going to look like, how that's going to impact the dynamic of her and her husband. Will she still be this career-driven? Will she still be as career-driven and ambitious as she was before having her child? And then Posey, will Luke be her end-all be-all romantic interest? Will they end up getting married? Will she, after she's climbed all over the world, where will she settle down at? Where will she call home? Who will she call home with? Will she have kids? And even the parents, because throughout this movie, the parents were talking about retiring and having Posey take over the cafe. But learning of Posey's true desires, they backtracked and was like, okay. So I'm curious to see now what retirement is going to look like for her parents. Are they going to sell it, the cafe? Are they going to give it to someone else? Are they going to keep it in the family? I think there's so much here that Hallmark Movies and Mysteries can work with. And I think also it would lend to more scripted TV programming for Hallmark. Because I'm sorry, we need more than just When Calls the Heart and Chesapeake Shores. This will open the door for Hallmark Movies and Mysteries to now have its show. You know what I mean? It can have its thing. We have One Calls the Heart and Chesapeake Shores on Hallmark Channel. And now, since Hallmark Movies and Mysteries is trying to turn the dial to this more dramatic, scripted content, this can be the start of a beautiful TV show. And I hope that they move forward with this, because this is a solid movie. Outside of the what would you call it? Missed opportunities that I saw, I think this is, like I said, it's a perfect gateway and groundwork for a TV series for Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. I definitely think it's worth the watch, and that is why I'm giving it 4 crowns for sure. The acting was superb. Like I was drawn in. And I hope that they do something with this. So those are my thoughts on North to Home. Let me know what you think. Did you watch it? Do you even care to watch it after hearing me now? If you didn't watch it, but just wanted to listen to my review anyway, because you don't care about spoilers, let me know if this review will make you watch it. Or if you just don't care at all. I want to hear all your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. And be sure, if you haven't already, to subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, because I'm also reviewing Chesapeake Shores on the podcast as well. I'm on season 3 of Chesapeake Shores, and I will be reviewing what I'm calling throwback movies for on Thursdays on the podcast. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video where we will finally be caught up. I will be reviewing Don't Forget I Love You. So I will talk to you guys in the next video.